Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It is 6:07. It's O'Connor and Company. I feel like I shouldn't just jump right in on a wicked slash lick. But we just keep listening to Guns N' Roses the entire time.
Be the next half
Slash and Axl Rose. Was there ever any? Dennis Miller used to have a great joke about the drummer who was kicked out of Guns N' Roses because he was partying too hard. Imagine what you got to be.
Imagine when Slash goes, "Hey, dude, take it down a notch."
Dude, God, you're just making us all look bad. It's a great little routine that's as much as I can say on the airwaves. Actually, it gets a little vivid. Good morning. It's Tuesday, the 21st day of May, and we are so proud to be talking to you right now. Join us, won't you, over the next couple of hours at 7:05. Jonna Spilbor will give us her legal analysis of yesterday's day in court for Donald Trump. 7:35, Eli Lake on the, confusion over right and wrong in the international community. 8:05, Governor Scott Walker is suing UCLA. And then at 8:35, Brent Bozell will join us. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
So Donald Trump did have a day in court yesterday. This is basically winding down the prosecution. All of the things that we're learning about Michael Cohen right now, this is really important for everybody to understand. In an hour, we'll talk to Jonna Spilbor about it, too, because she's a lawyer. I'm not. But it just occurs to me that in the last 2 court days, which stretches because of the recess on Friday, stretches from Thursday to yesterday, we've learned that Michael Cohen lied about one of the most key pieces of testimony and evidence that he had, a phone call that he allegedly made to Donald Trump about the Stormy Daniels payments and non-disclosure agreement and all that stuff. And we only have his word to believe because it was a phone call. It wasn't taped. We don't know what happened in the call.
Right.
But he says, I called him on this day, and here's the phone record. And, of course, we see the...
And, by the way, he did record other calls.
Yeah, other calls with his
not
client.
This one.
But this is the one he didn't record.
Right. But he's not.
That's a good point.
But he's not lying.
Could you tell us what happened in that phone call? I can only tell you I didn't record. This is the one you didn't record. This is the most damning phone call. This is the one where you set up the whole plan. By the way, 90-second phone call, too. So I guess it was a simple plan. It was easy to set up to pay off Stormy Daniels and then hide it, right? And so it's a 90-second phone call. And then the defense lawyer in cross-examination, this is the point I'm trying to make, is that all of this stuff that's coming out, this isn't even part of Trump's defense. They're just cross-examining this is the prosecution's time, and it's all falling apart. So he reveals that you look at the text messages for an hour leading up to that 90-second phone call, he was texting with the chief of security for Trump about a 14-year-old boy who was prank calling him. And he wanted to call the Secret Service on the 14-year-old boy.
Right, and then they go...
Finally, the security guy says, give me a call. And then he calls. And 90 seconds later, the call ends.
And we're supposed to believe the call was about something completely different.
I need you to get the Secret Service on this 14-year-old boy because he keeps prank calling me.
But what I really called about...
And while I've got you, could you put Trump on the line? Because we're going to talk about the Stormy Daniels thing. It'll only take, what do I got left? 20 seconds? Yeah, it'll only take 20 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. But then yesterday, again, the cross-examination continues. And, you know what? Let's let MSNBC describe what happened because it's great when MSNBC has to face these things.
Let me read for you the exchange between Todd Blanche and Michael Cohen. So you only gave him $20,000 and you took $30,000. Blanche, you stole from the Trump organization, right? Cohen says, yes, sir. Blanche goes on later on. He says, you did steal from the Trump organization based upon the expected reimbursement, correct? And he says, yes, sir. So again, that is breaking it out because essentially they walked through what it is that Michael Cohen actually paid Renfidge. And this goes back to, Jose, what you were just talking about, in this brown paper bag, all cash. He came to the Trump organization, an individual who worked for Renfidge, to collect this payment, $20,000, in which Michael Cohen paid out to this individual. The other $30,000 Michael Cohen kept to himself. Subsequently, why Todd Blanche is now saying, okay, so you stole from the Trump organization, correct? And Michael Cohen says, yes, correct. I believe what during this cross we're trying to get at essentially here is even during this time in which Michael Cohen contends that he was very loyal to the Trump organization, protecting the former president, protecting his boss at the time, a man he has worked with for so long, right, since 2007, who is seen more as a father figure even, that he would then subsequently steal from him because
I had undying. Why did you do all of these things? Because I was loyal to Donald Trump.
Even though he was loyal.
Right.
He steals.
You stole from him. Well, that's how he expresses his loyalty. You should see what he does to his enemies.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even allowed to talk about it. So I love that it's cash in a brown paper bag, too.
I know.
Totally legit businessman.
Oh, my God.
But
that wasn't all. That wasn't the craziest part of the day.
Well, hold on. We'll get to it. But this is incredibly damning. This is really bad. Not only did he steal, but the actual transaction in question here is the legit transaction that Donald Trump is facing a criminal prosecution for.
Right.
And remember, I just need to contextualize this because this isn't just about Michael Cohen being untrustworthy and a bad man in the eyes of the jury, which it is that. What is Donald Trump's defense? Donald Trump's defense is Michael Cohen told me that we owed him legal fees. We paid him legal fees. We accounted for it as legal fees. I don't know what Michael Cohen did with that money. That's what Donald Trump's defense is. What Michael Cohen did with the money is pay off Stormy Daniels. Michael Cohen claims Donald Trump knew that it was a payoff for Stormy Daniels. But here's the thing. If Donald Trump knew that it was a payoff for Stormy Daniels, he would have known how much it was. And so he would have known that Michael Cohen was stealing from him.
Yeah.
So the fact that Michael Cohen was able to skim off the top and keep the money for himself
Excellent point.
is proof that Donald Trump truly did believe he was paying a legal fee because that's what Michael Cohen told him it was. And then he kept a chunk of it and gave the rest off. I mean, this is actually more than just showing him as a thief. It's a smoking gun of supporting Donald Trump's defense.
That he didn't know.
Right. So here's Ellie Honig. Also, this is CNN now because we had MSNBC have to, fight through the tears.
Yes.
Here's CNN.
Michael Cohen explained this whole thing, quote, that's what was owed, and I didn't feel Mr. Trump deserved the difference. That's a lot different than I stole $60,000 from my boss on the transaction at the heart of this case. And by the way, the fact that he was never charged with larceny is important because stealing $60,000 through fraud, which would be larceny in New York State, is more serious of a crime than falsifying business records.
Right. Thank you. I mean, the two crimes that are involved in this case now, the so-called falsifying of business records versus embezzlement, which do you think is more serious?
Michael Cohen should be in the hot seat.
Yes, but Alvin Bragg isn't prosecuting him. Kash Patel, our buddy Kash Patel, friend of the program, he actually appeared to reporters outside the courtroom yesterday, and he said, "We finally have a crime. We've been waiting for a crime in this whole thing. We got it." But you're right. That's not the weirdest thing that happened yesterday. We'll get to more of this. But also, you have to hear, Lawrence O'Donnell, by the time they got to primetime, MSNBC was trying to spin this whole thing. So you hear how Lawrence O'Donnell tried to do that and a couple of other things in terms of the media trying to clean up this mess. But it's just, and I don't want anyone to think that Trump's going to get acquitted. Everybody's default position is that this system, this jury, this prosecutor, this judge is so corrupted and so biased that he will get prosecuted. But all it takes is one juror. And if he does get a hung jury, that is a monumental achievement and a victory. And either way, the scenario is set right now that even if he does get this corrupt conviction, which I expect he will, there's so much out there to show how corrupt it is. But we'll get to more details of yesterday's day in court in a moment. Michael Cohen, not just a liar, but a thieving liar. How many commandments can he break in just one cross-examination?
A ton of news broke today. I've got the up-to-the-minute details for you on the next Vince Callanan Show, 3 to 6, right here on WMAL.
He very effectively got Michael Cohen to agree that, yes, he stole $30,000. Later, when Cohen was asked about that on redirect by the prosecution, it didn't really sound like stealing $30,000. It sounded a lot like Michael Cohen doing the little that he could within that calculation to rebalance the bonus he thought he deserved, and it still came out as less than the bonus he thought he deserved and the bonus he'd gotten the year before.
Yeah, so it wasn't really stealing, says Lawrence O'Donnell. It was just a recalibration of money to get the bonus he deserved. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That tells you a lot about how Lawrence O'Donnell goes to business when he negotiates his deal with MSNBC, doesn't it? It's not stealing. I'm just getting the bonus I thought I deserved. Oh, and by the way,
would you please hold the hammering now?
Where's his stop the hammering bonus? He deserves that. He's just going to recalibrate. So it's not really.
He very effectively got Michael Cohen to agree that, yes, he stole $30,000. Later, when Cohen was asked about that on redirect by the prosecution, it didn't really sound like stealing $30,000.
Didn't really sound like stealing.
Really stealing.
Yeah. Ian Corzine, is this also on CNN? I'm not sure. Take a listen to this legal analysis.
A person at my office asked, could Michael Cohen still be charged for taking $30,000 from Donald Trump? And I told her, actually, yes, because of this unique part of New York state law.
Yeah, would be great to see some charges against Michael Cohen.
It'll never happen.
Of course not.
No.
It's too useful right now to Alvin Bragg. All right, but then there was this weird thing. So Trump's defense finally began, right? Mm-hmm. Because they called their first witness onto the stand. And then so what exactly happened here? Because the judge started yelling at him, right?
Yeah, so who did they call? They called a former lawyer for Michael Cohen.
This is Robert Costello.
So
Robert Costello has been actually doing media appearances and stuff saying, Michael Cohen's a liar. And I was his lawyer.
Right.
And I guess there's a waiver of attorney-client privilege on this, so he's able to say these things.
Yes. So he gets on the stand and apparently starts guffawing and sort of rolling his eyes at things that the judge is saying. Mm-hmm. And so the judge comes at him and says things like, I don't know what he said, something like, are you challenging me?
Here's how Fox News described it. He had to clear the court after this confrontation with Robert Costello. The back and forth began when Costello audibly and visibly responded with disapproval to Merchant, sustaining multiple objections from the prosecution concerning the testimony about Michael Cohen. I'm sorry, Merchant said to Costello after one reaction before clearing the court. I want to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom. You don't say strike it because I'm the only one who can strike it. Merchant told Costello not to respond, roll his eyes, or react in any way to his rulings. Prior to the jury returning to the court, Costello looked at Merchant, prompting the judge to ask, are you staring me down?
Are you staring me down?
Not even allowed to look at the judge.
I mean, what a clown show this is.
Yeah. Merchant then demanded members of the press to be cleared from the court, but Trump delegates were allowed to remain.
Yeah, so he clears the court because there's going to be apparently a fist fight.
Right. Exactly.
These two people. Yeah.
The defense, by the way, did motion for a dismissal, saying they've actually presented no evidence of false business records. And the attorney, Mr. Bland, said, how on earth is keeping a false story from voters criminal? He argued that there was an intent to if there was an intent to defraud, there would be evidence of something entered in a false manner and something illegal actually having taken place pertaining to an effort to influence the election. He said there is no way the court should let this case go to the jury with Mr. Cohen's testimony, saying that Cohen had lied on the stand. Merchant asked Blanche if Blanche was asking him to find Cohen not a credible witness, to which Blanche said yes. He's admitted to lying and stealing.
Wow.
Michael Colangelo, formerly of the Justice Department, argued that there was an overwhelming amount of evidence that shows intent to deceive and defraud. Merchant reserved his decision, meaning that he'll give his decision on whether to allow this to go to jury at a later date.
So you still are thinking this could be a hung jury?
No, I'm thinking this could be a prosecution. I think he's going to get convicted. I think a hung jury is the best he can hope for. I think that it's possible because it just takes one juror. And I still have some faith in the people of New York. I used to live in New York. They're obnoxious and they're rude and they're abrasive and they talk funny and they root for really bad football teams, but they also have a sense of fair play.
You think?
And I think they can see through this. But it's all going to here's the real problem. It's all, and we'll ask Jonna Spilber again. She's an attorney. She's much better legal expert than me. In the same way, you shouldn't take medical advice from me because you will die. If you take legal advice from me, you will go to jail.
Yes, but
but I think this all boils down to the judge, because the judge instructs the jury, and ultimately the real wild card here and what the real fight is going to be is over the judge's instructions to the jury, and it will all be baked in the cake.
There are also 2 lawyers on this jury. One hopes that they will see through this, just how corrupt this has been.
They're New York lawyers.
I know.
Just like Michael Cohen. Cash in a brown paper bag sounds legit to me. What? What do you want?
I had a case like that. No big deal.
623.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. A Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9.
News now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Good morning to you. It's 6:36 now on O'Connor and Company. Coming up at 7:05, Jonna Spilber, a legal expert on the Trump trial. 7:35, Eli Lake, international affairs expert on the kowtowing to Iran and the regime. 8:05, Governor Scott Walker, he and Young America's Foundation are suing UCLA, and it's a great story. That's why we love YAF. They take up those fights, and Governor Walker, he's not been known to shrink to any sort of fight in his political path. And then at 8:35, Brent Bozell will going to be joining us from Media Research Center to talk about his son who just got sentenced connected to the events of January 6th. And, well, you want to hear this story. That's all coming up. Right now, though, I'm Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
It's another cat fight. You know, when last we checked, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez were engaged in let's just say, unladylike back and forth in the House Oversight Committee.
Well, you the one talking about. I
think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
You remember that little dig.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that wasn't criticizing her fake eyelashes, just pointing out that she's wearing fake eyelashes, which she is. I mean, they're the size of butterflies. Yeah. They're fluttering on her face. AOC then jumped in.
That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down. Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play.
Baby girl? I don't think
we are going to move and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
I love one guy jumping. Me, please like me, AOC. I'm going to second your motion. Jamie Raskin, please sit down.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Oh, she's so embarrassing.
Well, you know, AOC's from the Bronx.
Don't even play.
Baby. She thought she was breaking up a bar fight there for a second.
Exactly. And then Congresswoman Crockett, as they were going back and forth, she wanted a clarification from the chair about what is acceptable language and what is not acceptable language.
Ms. Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
I love Comer. Honestly, Comer's like my dad. My dad would be like, what's going on?
This Kentucky gentleman is finally I'm a chairman now. I've got the gavel. And it's oversight. Let's see how we can get some stuff done.
Women.
And then he's got to be oversight of
somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
That's right.
What?
Yes, the only proper response when this is going on.
A what now?
All right. Actually, no.
I will say,
he had the better responce. Actually,
yes.
That is a good response. But then ultimately, you have to say,
Chairman, motion to strike those words. I had no idea what
you just said.
No,
I will say, Jamie Raskin looked just as lost.
Oh no, actually, Jamie Raskin was sort of laughing at it all. He was sort of enjoying it. So ultimately, the entire committee hearing sounded like this.
I did it first, so you don't
voted to do it.
Order.
Okay, but can we get to the calm down? Calm down.
Oh, that was
Luna.
That was Congresswoman Luna.
Which was she's like, you're
I'm
hysterical.
told that's the thing that you're not supposed to say to women.
Yes, that's what's so funny about it is that I mean, my husband still hasn't learned to not tell me to calm down, but and many don't. But that is the way to get things more ramped up. And so I feel like it was on purpose, which was brilliant.
To most of the American people watching these proceedings on C-SPAN, which I'm sure we were all riveted to, all it sounded like to us was
Loud noises!
That's pretty much it. Just this is like a scene from Anchorman.
I did it first, so you don't want to talk about
it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look at, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this is what y'all do. So I'm trying to get.
She's not calming down, is she?
I love it. Calm down.
All right. So we remind you of all of this, mostly because we just love it and we love hearing these.
What now?
These drops. But now Jasmine Crockett has now decided to go on the offensive. And she is explaining what she's going on friendly media, of course.
And I also took this as an opportunity to, again, flex on MAGA and let them know that I will always be smarter than you. You can call me a DEI hire all you want to.
We will.
And lodge all the other insults that they continuously lodge against me. But she is no match for me when it comes to intellect. She just decided, oh, you know what? I've got privilege, so I'm just going to say whatever I want to say and then lean back. And that's exactly what she did. And she knew that she would face no consequences, or at least she thought she would face no consequences. I refuse to be somebody's doormat.
I think that clarifies everything for everyone involved.
What now?
But she did the whole circuit. Then she went on CNN with Jake Tapper because Jake Tapper is such a fair-minded.
I actually tweeted about this. This is particularly funny if you listen to her. I don't know if
well, let's listen first. Let's listen.
You have since called her racist, Congresswoman Green. I want to understand your perspective of this.
Jake just
Do
wants
you
to
think
understand.
her going after your eyelashes, that in itself is racist?
I think her specifically doing it to me, yes, that was the intent. As has been stated, women wear makeup, we wear lashes, we wear all types of things to beautify ourselves. But MAGA has historically been on social media doing the things where they're saying, oh, she's black with lashes and nails and hair, and so she's ghetto. And so to me, this was her buying into that rhetoric and trying to amplify this for the MAGA crowd. And so, I absolutely think that she only did it to be racist.
There you go.
Well, if you go on, Jake Tapper then asks her, okay, so the lashes thing. And then she clarifies, she goes, yes, but Jake, you should understand all women wear lashes. So she then sort of kills her own argument because
I thought this
fake
was just a black
so
thing.
she's suggesting that fake eyelashes are sort of a ghetto thing, right? And that's why Marjorie Taylor Greene attacked her for those lashes as a sort of as a way of suggesting
class.
you're low class. And then, but then she says, but Jake, you need to understand all women wear fake eyelashes, which by the way, I on occasion for like big galas and things like that, I also wear fake eyelashes. It's not just something that one demographic does. But anyway, so she kind of killed her own argument there at the end, which is not surprising.
I mean, if you think huge, grotesque-looking eyelashes,
butterfly,
right? I immediately think of a famous white woman, Tammy Faye Baker. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Although that was mostly mascara-induced.
Fake eyelashes have been around. My mom used to wear them in the 60s. I've worn them.
Sure.
I wear ones that are not the gigantic butterfly
Drag
ones.
queens wear them too,
Yes,
just
they do.
FYI.
Yes,
so
they
it
do.
could have been a knock at her appearance that she looks like a drag queen.
And she kind of does. Yes, sometimes.
Yeah. But the last thing that we would ever say here about Congresswoman Crockett is that she is ghetto. That's below the belt. And I think, you know what? Absolutely, you will not hear that kind of criticism from me or from anyone here associated with O'Connor and Company. Do not call Congresswoman Crockett ghetto. In fact, we'll just let her words speak for herself.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
I think that says it all.
Yes.
And again, I think all of us just want to just
what now?
and move on. It's 6:45. It's 6:50 now. And your eyelash is a little off kilter.
I know,
You might want to
came
put
off.
a little more. So here's an update on the Baltimore Bridge, and more specifically, the Dolly, the container ship that has. I thought they were going to turn it into a theme park. It had been staying up there in the harbor for so long. Just you know, anchor it and, add a roller coaster, and we'll turn it into.
Someone is still waiting for their package to arrive from Amazon because it's stuck on this ship.
You know what? I've been thinking about that. All of the stuff that people have been waiting for the delivery of.
Someone's missing their birthday.
So it started moving finally yesterday. It's a 2.5-mile trip back to the port. It's going 1 mile an hour, basically, or 1 knot, or I don't remember how that calculation goes. But they refloated it yesterday. It's no longer at the Francis Scott Key Bridge site. 5 tugboats were transiting the dolly back to the marina. And as you could go, though, you could see the damage that was caused when it struck the bridge and the pylon there, of course, that made the bridge fall away. It had been partially blocking the entrance, of course, to this port since March 26th, that tragic accident that happened. We assume it's an accident, although it is being investigated by the FBI. They continue to remove wreckage from that crash site. There's still steel girders down there, but this is a huge step forward, and that occurred yesterday. And strangely, the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, has been taking credit. Well, not taking credit. He's the point person and doing all of the media about it as if he's been single-handedly responsible for all of this stuff. But it's not really a Maryland operation. It's a very weird thing that they're putting Wes Moore out front on all of this, which they're grooming this guy for higher office beyond Maryland. It seems obvious. But there you go. Cruises will be returning. Royal Caribbean will be returning starting May 26th.
Yeah,
so you can go on your pleasure
more
cruise.
Travel will happen, which is good.
It's 6:52.